Hi, I'm Balmy. I'm a professional game designer, and today I want to answer two simple questions. First, what is Wildfire? And second, is it for you? Wildfire is a stealth platforming game that was originally kickstarted. They raised 20,000 Australian dollars and actually quite a lot of backers, gotta say, like that's quite a bunch. But yeah, on Kickstarter you can see they promised it's going to be a stealth platformer where you have the ability to control fire. If you check out the Steam page, you can also see mastered elements in a stealth game where everything burns. Use your elemental powers to start fires, freeze water, and move earth as you outsmart superstitious enemies in this mischievous 2D stealth game. So yeah, it's a platformer, you have control over the elements. Now, something I want to point out about this Kickstarter really quick and about this game in general. This game released on the 26th of May, so pretty recently. However, this Kickstarter was a while ago. This was in 2016. And the game was originally expected to be released in 2016 as well, which should say it somewhere around here. I don't know. You can see here that the rewards say 2016. There we go. Estimated release date, March 2016. So they missed that by a little bit. But the game did come out. Here it is. And now the important question, of course, is, was it worth the wait? Did they at least deliver on their promises? And let me just go ahead and start out by saying immediately, yeah, I think so. It's actually a pretty neat game. So let's get into it. I'm playing with a controller here. The game just feels more natural on a controller. I don't know. I feel like so you can play it on keyboard and mouse as well, but you'll see in a second that it feels more natural on a controller. It's just anything that involves platforming and such. I always feel like that feels more natural on the controller. Now we're gonna go ahead and go into the game. Oh, one thing that I should mention as well. Apologies for forgetting about that. But the game costs $14.99. It's available on Steam. So not the most expensive game. Like I think $14.99 is really quite the reasonable price point. So you can see I'm fairly deep into it here. We are not going to do one of these levels back here. I don't really want to spoil too much, but we're going to go and why don't we start with this one right here. Let's go ahead and do this. That sounds like fun. Now, in this game, you have a few elements. You have stealth, and then you have, well, the elements. So you can see if I push B, I can get my hands on fire, which is pretty cool. I can also throw fire, so I can take this and I can throw it into a general area. Now you can see that I hit these plants, which now has set the plants on fire, which is arguably bad because I may or may not need those. But anyway, so you can see that we are in our platforming area. Now, it's fairly simple in terms of its platforming because that's all we got. We got a jump, we can sprint. We've got the sliding thing, which is not really useful. If you sprint before jumping, you jump further. Your aerial mobility is very limited, so there's not really much drifting you can do once you are in the air. You can only sort of, decide you want to be jumping further when you actually click the jump button. And yeah, I don't know. The platforming is very simplistic, right? It's a very simple, basic platforming game. But I've got some cool stuff. For example, I can do this. So I can use that to teleport myself up there. Now, I gotta say, I kind of screwed up right here by setting those plants on fire. You're not really supposed to set those plants on fire. So let me go ahead and reload the level really quick. You can see it's pretty quick to reload, which is something that I personally quite appreciate. So we can embrace fire, but we can also embrace earth. If we embrace earth, we can throw these vines around and sort of manipulate the terrain, which I think is actually super cool, right? This is awesome. Look at that. Yeah, we can just climb up and down like this. Now, if we take fire, you can see that if we get near the snow will actually melt, which is also just kind of like a nice little touch. And we can use this right here to break through this area. And it seems that now we're done. We can't get through this while holding an element, so this is kind of like a choke point, making sure that we get rid of our whatever we are holding right now. Let's maybe have a look at what's down there. Oh, there's water. So we can use water as well. Alright, those are the 3 elements we can embrace. And there's a bunch of stuff you can do with water. So, for example, I can create those bubbles. It's actually the only thing I can do right now. I can throw it as well, but I don't really have another ability yet. You can get other abilities, I just don't have them yet. Alright, let's run. We're about to freeze. This is an ice level. Oops. Oh, we might be dead. Oh, that was very close. These right here serve as checkpoints, and they also have fire, which is kind of what's keeping us going. Anyway. So up we go. This is really where I think the game is at its strongest. So you can see that the game has presented us with all of these different like options where we can use the water to float, we can use the earth to create vines, we can also use the fire to just kind of jump around. I think all of that is pretty fantastic. And it makes for some really, really interesting platforming, right? So I can use these right here to put this down, and I grab myself a fire thing because I assume I'm gonna need that. Alright, so we can go up here. There we go. Oh, the snow comes crashing down because we're holding fire. Ooh, let's be careful. Alright, this is where maybe we wanna try and keep the fire around? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and set this on flames. There we go. Grab this, get the fire back, and you get it. This is super neat. Right, I think this is just kind of cool and works out very, very nicely. This really interesting, and it's well made, and this is honestly, this right here is one of my favorite levels, because what we get to do here is we get to just play with all of the different elements to do all sorts of neat platforming and climbing around the stage, and honestly it's just fantastic. Like this right here is really great. Like I know I'm praising it a lot, but I really have to say that I think they did a fantastic job with these platforming elements when you get to use all of your different elemental powers. Oh, that seems to be a bit of a glitch right there. But when you get to use all of your different elemental powers, it's just super neat. Oh, we're about to freeze. Well, it's not ideal. But it's super neat, super cool, really, really appreciate it. I think they did a fantastic job with it. So we're gonna go ahead and just use this. Maybe we can like... Nah, we should probably grab ourselves one of these vines again. This is where we need to, in all likelihood, go back to some sort of fire again, just so we have some healing for our frost state here. Again, this is an ice level. These are not very common, but this just happens to be one. Alright, go ahead and go in here. And then we can use this to float up here again, climb up here, thank you very much. And then we, yeah, you know, we continue on with our platforming. Now the question, of course, is how do we continue on? Well, we need to cross this fairly large gap that I'm pretty sure we can't just jump over. But we have the advantage of just being able to kind of create our own solution to this problem. And I think this really feels like I'm creating my own solution. This is what I really appreciate about this game, right? Like clearly this is sort of the intended way, but at the same time, I personally don't necessarily feel like it's being forced down my throat. I could maybe find a different solution. And then we go through here. So this is where we can also like jump down and climb a little. And then here we go, we find the next checkpoint. Very good. Oh, somebody died here. Push F. Anyway, so I'm not going to keep going with this level here, although I really, really like this level. I think this level is awesome, and as I mentioned already, it's one of my favorite levels in the game. Because it just focuses so much on the platforming, which I think is the game's strongest element. Well, this is where we kind of, I guess, get into the game's weakest element, which is the stealth. I'm not a big fan of stealth games. So maybe I'm just biased, and I think there's not an insignificant chance that that might be the problem here, right? That I just personally don't enjoy playing stealth games that much. But at the same time, I have to say that I found the stealth sections of this game to be not quite as nice as these right here. I just kind of want to finish up this level. I mean, like, no, we have already made it so far. The part of this level is fairly simple. It's... Oh, ow. Ooh, that's... Yeah, we just took a bunch of damage. That was... maybe a little bit unnecessary. I could have done that a bit better. So those icicles, they trigger off sound. Yeah, we want to be kind of careful around those. So let's kind of like, again, sneak past these a bit more carefully. We found the next checkpoint. Anyway, let's get ourselves out of this level and get into a different one that has a little bit more of what you can expect from the game. Because as much as this platforming is super neat, that level in particular, I think, is fantastic because it has pretty much only platforming, and you get to use all of the different elements, and you get to experiment with them. You get to like build your own little variation of the level. The stealth is a little, is not quite as, not quite as nice in my opinion. We'll get to that. So you can see right here are our opponents. Now, something that's very important to know about Wildfire is we have no way of fighting. At least not directly. There are some ways where we can indirectly kill opponents, but we can't just attack them. Even if I have a fireball in hand, if I throw the fireball at an opponent, it will just bounce off of them. We have no weapon. We cannot just go up to an enemy and kill them. In fact, every single level has these sort of objectives right here. So we have a main objective that we need to do to conclude the level. Then we have an optional objective. And then we always have the same ones. We have undetected, no kills, no safe reloads, and the speedrun target. I have never hit the speedrun target. I don't think you will hit the speedrun target on your first playthrough. That seems highly improbable, right? This is something that really is a speedrun target, but you need to actually play the level multiple times to get a feel for how you go about it in the best and fastest way. No safe reloads, that's very much possible. No kills and undetected is also possible. So no kills means you don't kill an opponent. As I mentioned, you can not fight them directly, but you can do it indirectly. And I will do that right now, just so I can kind of show you how that works out. Alright, so we kind of triggered this right there. You can see I placed the vine there. This is mostly just so I can, you know, climb up there and do some nonsense. Anyway, this guy is about to have a bad time. So this right here allows me to go into this little tunnel thing. Alright, they are having a chat. Well, if they're gonna have a chat, actually with my fire I can't really get up there right now. Okay, they're just chilling. That's fine. We can get out right now, and then we... So you can see that now we are burning them. And we are burning too, sadly, which is a little unfortunate. But you can see that I killed them, right? Like, there you go. There they go. They see that they're dying. There we go. It did result in me also burning, but they are dead. So that's kind of how you can kill in this game. You can chase enemies off platform as well with the fire. And just kind of like generally setting them on fire, I guess. That's really the big way. That's how you do it. Now, this fire stuff is pretty neat, honestly. Like, there's a lot you can do with it. And honestly, for example, this guy right here. So we have an enemy in this position. We need to get to this switch. And we need to kind of figure out how we best do this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just give the secret away because I've already played this area. But I think it's interesting. So what we can do is we can take these plants, throw them into this area, and then we set them on fire. We gotta aim this a little bit carefully. All right, our opponent is just there we go. All right, got it. So because I set it on fire, you can see our opponent panicked and unlocked the door. Which is really cool, isn't it? I think that's awesome. That's just a neat little way to really make us think about how we can tackle the situation. Then we have these right here, which are red barrels. I mean, have a guess what they do. Right? And we can take these red barrels and toss them in there. Oh, we actually hit the guard with it. That wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but hey, we'll take it. So we'll grab ourselves these barrels. And right now, we just group them up back there. Grab ourselves our fireball again. And now, well, the guards aren't exactly smart. So I can now just do that. And in just a second. Oh. Well. Was that guard just barely out of range or something? Well, that's unfortunate. You get the idea. So this kind of sandbox style, you know, puzzle solving with with all of these different elements and the different abilities you have. Again, I think this is super cool. Now, while that fight against that guard was really interesting, sadly, most of the fights against guards in the game aren't quite as cool. Most of the time, what sneaking around guards means is just kind of slowly, very carefully waiting for them to go through certain movement patterns. And again, this is something where I feel like this is fairly common in stealth games. And if you really like stealth games, then this probably doesn't bother you, right? But for example, right here, what we need to do is we need to get one of those. You see that little blue pot in the bottom left corner? We need that one if we want to complete this secondary objective here. The problem with that is that it's guarded by this guard. And we're going to have to just wait for the guard to kind of like move across here to let us snatch it up. Because if we pick it up, we'll be moving more slowly. Now, there's a few things we can do, of course. So I can, for example, go in here and... oh, it seems I missed that one. Well, I was kind of hoping to get the guard on top of that bridge on the other side so I can trap the guard there. Well, maybe I can still do this. Oh, alright, we got detected. Oh, there we go. Hello. So generally speaking, what I tend to do is if I get detected, I just start killing them. So I killed that guard by making it scared of the fire, and then, you know, it fell. If you don't fall into grass, you take fall damage. But grass does block all of it. Anyway, yeah, so at this point, we have failed pretty much all of the things. We are not undetected. We don't have no kills. We have no safe reloads, not as well. A speedrun target, of course, we missed. We can still do the main objective and the optional objective. Now, you might be wondering why I bring this up so much, right? Isn't this just kind of like a checklist for how you can clear level nicely, and then you get like you would probably expect you kind of get just some insignificant reward for it. It's kind of, but this right here also gives you actual in-game stuff. So if we check out our abilities, right here, it gives you spirit points to complete those bonus abilities, which we can use, or those bonus objectives, which we can use to upgrade our character. And these are not insignificant, right? So this one actually gives us extra health, which is quite a bit, honestly. Right? that is kind of nice. So this right here does really matter. Like it's actually quite significant. We can use the spirit points to make our character stronger. So you're actually incentivized to complete these optional objectives. But that can be really long and tedious. And that can really take a long time to do. And again, that might be fine with you. For me personally, it ended up taking a little too long at times. Where I was getting a little bit tired of waiting for the guards forever to finish their current movement rotation and finally get around to business so I can, you know, go and actually play the game a little bit. All right, we're going to go ahead and... Yes, you can do that. It's a very Minecraft approach to fall damage, isn't it? Alright, we can see our opponents here. Now we can also actually just kind of like move past them in stealth. If we are in grass, then we are not visible. Right, we are actually just invisible to them. Not even just stealth, they just straight up cannot see us at all. Oops. Hello. Oh wow, you're freaking out. Yeah, you really gotta get a hold of yourself. Alright, good. So we're gonna wait until you are past, and then we're gonna go ahead and drop down here. Wait until you move past up there as well, and then we can continue on. Now, we can actually, so to complete this level, what we actually have to do is, it's kind of giving it away a bit, but we have to go down here Alright, this is kind of the secret area of this level, and then we switch this. And I think that's actually wrong. It needs to be up. Yeah, there we go. And then we can use that to... well, nope, no, that's not what I want. There we go. And then we can use that to climb to the end of the level. But you're pretty freeform in terms of how you want to get to it. Right, so I'll go ahead and get ourselves this right here. Thank you very much. No, I would rather not show myself. I'm kind of dying. Which may or may not be good. Now, I don't want to make the sound too bad. Now, apologies if I do. Or if I've done that so far. I think that this game still offers a lot of really interesting stuff. Right, and it's really quite neat in terms of the things that are in there and the mechanics, how they are played with. Oh yeah. Okay. I need to actually have these platforms. Okay, yeah. Alright then. Here we go. We'll go ahead and climb our way down here. So as part of this level, I do have to collect these cups and put them down there so these platforms move up. We're not going to be doing that right now. That would just be taking quite a while. I wanna show you like one more level. One of the things about this game is that the individual levels, they tend to be fairly long. So that's definitely something to kind of keep in mind. Although it does vary a bit. So this is a level where we have to rescue at least one villager. Now, in this particular level, we are fighting these bobcats. So these are a different type of enemy. Again, we don't really have any sort of weapon. What we do have is fire, and the cats do not like fire. So you can use this fireball, if you're holding it, to kind of chase them around like this. Again, this is really cool stuff. I really like this. Right? And when this is what you're doing, the game is at its best. And then it's really, really awesome. I really enjoy it then. But again, most of the time, this is not what you're doing. Alright, so we need to figure out how we best do this. I think we... set this on fire? Okay, I am... trying to get my hands on this grass up there, but... well, we're not getting that. Okay. Alright, the cats are angry. And let me just kind of show you what happens with opponents. Oh, you die quick. Yeah, they're brutal. They're absolutely devastating. Oh no, this autosave is no good. We're gonna have to restart this. Now, in this particular level, what we have to do is we have to save villages. Right? Most levels, you have to find the exit. But the exit is right here. So what we have to do in this particular level is we have to save villages, which is another sort of mission you will get here. Ow. Ow. Oh, bad cat. No, bad cat. Alright, yes, get away from me. Alright, come on. Hey, I'm gonna go chase you all the way around. You can see what the game is about, right? You can see how it works. At this point, you have a pretty good understanding of it. Now, the big thing, my biggest criticism with this game, ow, okay, well, the cats got mad. My biggest criticism regarding this game, and the thing that I think sadly works the least well about it, is this menu right here, right? To me personally, this always feels a little unsatisfying, because I know that in certain levels, for example, getting undetected, I have no idea how in this particular level here, I'm supposed to get undetected. Because not only do we have to get past all of these bobcats, but we also have to save... Oh, crap. Oh, God, okay. I'm getting impatient. There we go. But we have to also save a bunch of villages, which means we have to take this whole route back. We have to go take this path twice with these 3 cats. And I'm honestly not sure how exactly we're supposed to be able to do that. while not... Okay, we'll go ahead and jump up here. There we go, that works, doesn't it? But I'm really not entirely sure how we are supposed to do that while not being detected. And there's a few levels like that, where it feels like you can't even complete this properly, right? Unless you spend hours getting every single detail. And this wouldn't bother me if it didn't have a gameplay benefit to complete it, right? Like, if it just didn't matter if you complete it, I would be totally fine. Wouldn't bother me at all. But it does matter. And that makes it not feel that good. And then the other problem here is the optional objective. So in this one, it's just keep 3 bobcats at bay with 1 fireball, which is something you almost do just passively, right? That just kind of happens. But in other levels, these objectives tend to be, and this is really much more common, they tend to be incredibly tedious, where it's basically just go gather 5 of these. Oh, they are spread across the entire level, and after you've gathered them, you need to bring them to a specific location. So you have to run around the entire level 5-6 times. And sure, right, I kind of get it, where it's supposed to make you appreciate... Those cats are very mad. I guess, like, I kind of get it, it's supposed to, like, you know, have you travel across the level a little bit. Sure, I kind of can get behind that. But sadly, it often feels just mostly tedious. However, if you're willing to just kind of, and this is how I've been playing, if you're willing to just kind of set this aside and say, you know what, I'm just not going to get all of the points, then you can actually have a pretty good time with it. Like, I think then it's a really good and really interesting game mostly, right? Where right now we need to protect our villages, but where you are actually actively using all sorts of different elements, right? It's not just a one-time gimmick that you then don't end up using properly. No, you do use it. You do actually need to use the fire and the water and the grass. Admittedly, the water probably the least, and I don't even have the ice upgrade yet that they talk about, right? Like, the ice thing is something that's actually brought up in their trailer as well, and I'm not really sure why so much emphasis is put on it. I don't even have it yet, and I'm, you know, pretty deep into the game. But anyway. Alright, cats. So I'm gonna go ahead and just set this on fire right here, so the cats can't follow us. And, oh, wait, never mind, I forget. We need to bring these guys not to the exit, we need to bring them down here. There we go, rescue these nerds, thank you very much, and with that we have completed the level. And there you go, you can see at the end of it, we get ourselves this victory screen, and this always feels a little bad, right? I don't know. Admittedly, you could just say it feels bad because I'm bad, right? And I'm not completing the I'm not completing these additional objectives very well. But I have to admit, I still feel like it's a little bit of an issue. Other than that, I very much 100% recommend Wildfire. I think it's cool if this is the type of game that you enjoy, and if you find the whole aspects of playing with the different elements to be interesting, and if you like stealth games and and you're not like me and you're not impatient and it doesn't bother you to just kind of wait a minute for one of the guards to complete their movement pattern, then I think you've got a really cool, well-made game here. But quick note, if you play this game, go into the options menu, which, by the way, options menu, it's not anything too, yeah, it's fine. Like, it's nothing spectacular, but it's got all of the necessities. But go in here and disable spoken vocalizations. Trust me, you will thank me for not having. This is the worst thing in the entire game. If they didn't have the option to turn this off, this game would just, I would not. Oh wait, no, sorry, this doesn't even work. You need to reduce the voice volume to 0. Yeah, this button didn't do anything. You need to reduce voice volume to 0. Make sure you reduce the voice volume to 0, because the guards, they are constantly screaming. I was worried the neighbors would call the police, because the guards are just always screaming every time you see fire. Or they see fire, and it's honestly, it's a bit of nonsense. Anyway, overall, cool game, recommended. Feel free to have a look, right? It's on Steam. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please let me know what game you would like me to tackle next. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can let me know about which game you want me to tackle next by tweeting at me at Captain Balmy. And also, please, if you know somebody that might be interested in Wildfire, share them this video. Not only does that help me, but it would also be helpful to them, I think. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.